Inspiring You Show. If we haven't met, I'm Henry. We're going to be doing a mindfulness chat, my friends, on the December energy forecast, theme number 8. So, this is theme number 8. And if you have not listened to the previous ones, this month I am taking the overall energy forecast, which is 10 themes, and I'm breaking it down into smaller themes to support everyone, to then add in tools like journal questions, as well as, intentions, affirmations to support you in regarding integration of the possible energy theme if it is something that is resonating with you. Okay, so this one, theme 8, is the birth of global transformation, the birth of new energy on the world stage, shaping the future together. Friends, as we are approaching in a fast paced way the threshold of 2025, a new global consciousness emerges more visibly on the world stage. So, despite ongoing conflicts and uncertainties, there is a powerful undercurrent of evolution that prioritizes mindfulness, authenticity, and collective well being. Technology may assist us as well, yet the true power of this shift resides in human consciousness, our shared commitment to living with greater presence, collaboration, and alignment. Your individual journey is woven into this global tapestry. The personal transformations you've navigated, redefining your future, healing relationships, exploring new paradigms of being, are mirrored on the world stage. Each personal breakthroughs, no matter how subtle, send ripples outward. As more people awaken to higher frequencies and expanded perspectives, these ripples merge into waves of global change. In the coming year, these waves will become even more apparent, shaping a future guided by more unity, compassion, and purpose. Remember, though, some things can shift right away rapidly. However, some things, if they've really been embedded in the physical world, can take longer to clear the different levels. So it can be phases and layers of transformation. So remember that. And as we are moving and shifting from old earth into more new earth, there's just levels of things that are being called to be cleared. So that's where you also have to bring in patience, yet also though, be on the lookout for these moments where you're seeing more of the future being shaped by more unity, collaboration, compassion, and beneficial aspects in terms of purpose. So, with that, let's talk about integration work, how to support global transformation, because you are an individual and a collective experience. So, with that, one is embrace emotional release. Just as global structures are shifting, you might find old emotions, patterns, or stories rising to the surface. Welcome them without judgment. Breathe through them and let them go. Let yourself process the emotions, download the wisdom of the emotion, and then come to completion and then allow it to move through you. Emotions want to motion through you. So, really using those mindfulness tools, welcome them without judgment. And then when you allow them to do what they need to do, completing the process, it creates space within yourself for fresh energies to arise. Because once the emotion has been completed, downloaded the wisdom, and then essentially cleared out, you create space within yourself for fresh energies to arise. And then understand your personal emotional release contributes to the collective's emotional release as well. So your personal emotional release contributes to the collective's emotional clearing. And, also with it, you could look at your maternal and paternal lineages, your ancestral energy field, which is also part of your individual experience within the collective. And so your family lines are part of the collective. If there are old emotions, patterns, or stories that are rising to the surface from the history of your family, Again, welcome them without judgment. Breathe through them. Let yourself process, download the wisdom, and then when you're ready, come to completion and then allow yourself to create space for fresh energies to arise. Because again, your personal emotional release, not only your individual experience, but also within your ancestral energy field or your maternal lineages, your ancestry, that also contributes to the collective emotional clearing. And I share that because earlier today, I was speaking to my mom on the phone and and she I just started asking her questions about my about her parents, my dad's parents, and I got some information that I did not know, and I'm pretty sure my brothers didn't know, and it was pretty big information. I was like, "Oh, oh, oh." And so it was a little bit surprising, and then also it allowed me to understand my mom better, and it just set off a lot of things in motion, where then I did a full Reiki meditation, I did some journaling work, and then I did some dowsing, asking, like, where is there anything from the family lines that need to be cleared? How much has been carried over in my own experience, my brother's experience? And then asking, always respecting free will, can I do the work? Asking then and dowsing that if the guides could do the work for the whole family for the highest good, always respecting free will. And I got a yes. And so I did a pretty big dowsing clearing and I felt a huge shift afterwards. And this was just in a, it was just in a conversation to call my mom to, my mom loves sending out holiday cards. And so it was to say, "Hey, I got the holiday card," which, by the way, took some reason it took 2 weeks to get to LA from Massachusetts, whereas it only took less than a week to get to Massachusetts to San Francisco to my brother who lives there. It's phenomenally fascinating, in regard to how many conversations I have about mail, with my mom. Anyway, the point of it is that, again, it's just connecting, patience, being curious. And in gratitude of me calling her to say thank you for a card, I found out this whole wealth of information from my mom um, regarding her family, my dad's family, which then led to a full-on dowsing. And all this information, it's not surprising that it came up because also things are coming to the surface. What needs to be called to the light, if you will, and so then utilizing that, what do you do with that information? Do you just store it away as a story? For me, I am like, okay, that's interesting information. Let me go do a meditation, energy healing meditation, seeing if there's any other wisdom, and then from there a dowsing. And again, going along with this theme, this clearing then was not only then for me, but also if my family wanted to accept it, the ancestors, the lineages, which also then supports global transformation. Because again, it's the ripple out effect. When you are having an individual journey that is woven into a global tapestry. So your personal emotional release contributes to the collective's emotional clearing. Your clearing contributes to the collective's clearing. So the clearing that was done earlier in regard to me with my family then supports the collective emotional clearing. Oftentimes I will ask, friends or clients, are you meditating or what's your usage of tools? And oftentimes, sometimes people will say, like, oh, I'm just so busy right now. It is like if you pick up your house on a daily basis or whenever you do it, it is just as necessary as taking time to pick up your house or do the dishes, because the accumulation of dense energy can be like if you let the dishes go for 3, 4, 5 days, even if you are if you are living in a household of like 1 or 2 people or like a household of 7 people, dishes can accumulate, in my experience, rather fast. So that's why using the tools can become really important. So just imagine then your maternal and paternal lineages that, you know, that they were in survival mode. So think about the old emotions or patterns or stories that were really handed down through the DNA that wasn't able to be processed because they were in direct survival mode of surviving for their lives. And then it got handed down through the DNA to then be processed. And so that's where then embracing and using tools and with this integration work of this theme, how to support global transformation. I mean, directly in your beingness. And that's something the guys always say is you just showing up being here can directly have a beneficial impact because your beingness, you are doing something by being here in the physical world. And then the next step in the human experience is then, what is your relationship with tools? So the integration work for this theme, how to support global transformation. 1, embrace emotional release. Learning to have a different relationship with your emotional body. That is number 1. Making friends with your mental body is also really important, and obviously your physical body. Yet the emotional body, because it can be so difficult sometimes to be in sadness or loss and grief or anxiety or tension or stress, the emotional body sometimes can get just a bad rap. Where I hear quite a bit sometimes in sessions where people will say, I just don't want to feel. I don't like that when I'm X, Y, and Z. And it could be something with frustration or sadness. Why do I have to feel this way? And it's like the emotions become enemies. It's within your body. You're making part of you then an enemy camp. And so really changing and reframing your relationship with emotions. Because I'm an intuitive empath, feeling has always been it's never been something I've not understood because it is I can feel it. Some people will talk about how they'll have the thoughts first and then feelings. For me as an empath, an intuitive empath, it's feeling first. It's feeling the frequencies and then oftentimes, the mental body will start going in conjunction. So making friends and understanding how the emotional body works and how it's beneficial then in conjunction with all the multi bodies and within then your individual within the collective experience. So number 1, this integration work, embrace emotional release. Number 2, tune into new energy. Tune into new energy. Pay attention to the moments when you feel excitement, inspiration, or a sense of just, peace or joy, or you're kind of in that space of that deep level of intuitive knowingness without needing a logical reason. These signals often indicate resonance with the emerging currents. Lean into these feelings, allowing them to guide you toward a more aligned choices and actions. So, I remember years ago when I did one of my first dowsing energy sessions, I had been asking the guides because I had been doing energy work for years, and I had been asking the guides for a more efficient way of healing where it wasn't going to take me, 1,000,000,000 hours. And how can it be more efficient? And at the time, I was in the process of healing work PTSD. And if you've gone through any kind of PTSD, it's not a great feeling. And so my intention really was I wanted to be okay. I wanted to feel okay, like I'm okay. And my first dosing session not only cleared this dense energy that was kind of caught in my head, my brain, but also I had a few like niggling, like negative thoughts that were kind of like ruminating. And I was using affirmations to help retrain the brain. But it just felt really heavy. And my nervous system was really just whew, was dysregulated. And I had been doing somatic experiencing and other things. And so, anyway, I did this dowsing session and it was amazing. All the old emotions, stories cleared. And y'all, I shifted into new energy. And it was like this incredible peace energy. And I felt so light. I had so much clarity. I was I was present, grounded and present. And there were no negative thoughts, no ruminating. I was so present. It was one of the most amazing experiences that I've had in my life. And since then, I now live in more of that experience of being in that peace, clarity, lightness, and that is one of the reasons why I really love dowsing energy work is because it's just a for me it's been a really efficient tool to support me in terms of shifting. So, but for you, you have to pay attention to what it's like to shift of when you feel excitement, inspiration, peace energy, lightness, in that knowingness because once you have that tactile experience of it, it's a lot easier than to understand later on if you're caught in dense energy. Like, oh, I've shifted out of the peace energy I've shifted out of being in 5D or higher, whatever language you want to call it. And then you understand more, oh, okay, I need a clearing. And it's just a practice of much like you would do your dishes, you are doing a clearing for your energy field, for your energy. And with this, then it means often, the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, the subtle body, the spiritual body. You're multidimensional. It could also be from the present life, previous lives, the parental lives, past lives. It could be from um, your ancestors. You're doing a multidimensional clearing to support you in this present moment to come in the now. And you're using just different tools. And so the integration work, a big part of the integration work is recognizing when you've shifted and really tuning in to understand the difference between where you were before to where you are now. And if you do an energy session and you notice like, I don't feel anything or something, there could be a lot of reasons. One, there could be a numbness, protection that may be in place that needs to be cleared. That's become maybe it was a protection beneficial protection measure at some point, and now it's become non-beneficial. But that numbness isn't allowing you to shift into this present moment to feel in the now. There could be a heart wall that's been created. Just I don't remember if it was last week or a couple days ago. Time is just I don't know, it feels like this month is in warp speed, but also I'm like, "Wait, was that just yesterday?" But I was talking to a really good friend of mine who's probably gonna listen to this, and I'm so grateful for the conversation we had because I had shared something about how, um, someone had shared something regarding, how I've supported them, and it was so lovely, the words, and very meaningful, and yet I definitely when I told my one of my good friends, I could feel my heart wall was up, and my friend was like, "What is going on?" Because It was so beautiful what was shared, but yet I had like I totally had like robotic, like auto voice going on and wasn't that nice. And my friend's like, "What is happening?" And then I was like, "Oh, I got the heart wall just went up. Huh." And I shared some other things in terms of processing it, but basically it brought in huge realizations again of something that is coming up to the surface to be cleared, that it was a beneficial practice years ago, but now this protective measure is no longer has become non-beneficial. And I could hear it and my friend could hear it, and it was a heart wall that went up. And so then I think the next day I did a clearing in connection to the heart wall. And if you are doing clearing heart wall, you always want to ask to clear what is non-beneficial. And then if there's any trapped emotions that cleared any trapped emotions that helped create the heart wall. So you want to ask for that to be released too. And then strengthening your connection to your heart with your soul and your human to allow yourself to shift into this present moment and any other beneficial wisdom that needs to come down from that experience for the highest good. Because we can create protective measures in forms of heart walls that were beneficial and at some time, but then become non-beneficial. And so again, this is where embracing emotional release comes in, tuning into new energy. And it can be really helpful to have friends that you feel safe to workshop with. And so yes, even though I do this work on a daily basis, I am living a human experience. And it does not mean that I don't have things that aren't coming up to be cleared or happening. It's just about then using the tools and who I have that I can safely, in a sacred space workshop with. So integration work again, embracing emotional release, tuning into new energy, practicing presence. And I'm also just going to add in patience, practicing presence and patience. Because sometimes, y'all, in our humaning, we can become so impatient with the process. You can write an intention down like maybe 2 years ago, but maybe it's not gonna manifest for 2 years. And I know we all wanna know the psychic information of like, "When? Give me the date. When? Is it gonna happen now? Is it gonna happen now?" Maybe, but maybe it's really beneficial in 2 years. And then the human's gonna be like, "Oh, 2 years." You're here to learn, grow, and evolve. The more you make peace at practicing presence and being here and being in the acceptance of what it is now as opposed to what you're trying to force into, the more it's going to get easier for you to be in co-creation with the universe with ease and grace. Because if you're trying to force the future into this present moment, but things haven't really lined up, doesn't mean that it's all going to be like incredible. It could be that you're forcing it out of frustration or anxiety or impatience or fear, and you've then co created something with the universe out of those frequencies as opposed to the energy of love, which when you're in the energy of love and creating, it's a completely different experience. So practicing patience and then practicing presence. So in a rapidly changing world, presence becomes a powerful anchor. Whether through a few minutes of daily meditation, energy work, journaling, taking nature walks, hanging out, even with with your family, laughing, playing cards, um, playing games and laughing, dancing, taking your dog for a walk. If you have a cat, hanging out, playing with your cat, or simply watching your breath. Presence fosters clarity and resilience. I have shared many experiences on this show about my own life, things that have happened, and if I didn't have a strong relationship to resilience, I'm not sure I would have made it through half the things I've been through. And so presence fosters clarity and resilience. And by centering yourself, you help stabilize not only your individual field, but also the collective field. After the election in the US, whoo, that week, my goodness, the loss and grief that was going through the collective field was intense. And I definitely took the first couple days, just to kind of process myself and clear, reground, realign. And I was with a good friend yesterday, and my friend was asking me how I am now. And like now I feel really great. I feel really centered. And I have clarity, understanding. And, my friend shared that, that she has another friend that is still going through the waves of loss and grief, which I have a lot of compassion for. And also, though, the more you allow yourself to process the loss and grief by centering yourself, you help stabilize the collective field. Yet if you're staying in if you're destabilized in your energy field in a consistent space in terms of like, you know, months, weeks, it does affect then the collective. And it's not right, wrong, good or bad. There's an isness. Yet it's really really recalling and understanding then we're individuals having a collective experience. So by centering, if you want to help people, if you want to do work and support people, I hear this quite a bit too, where people I want to help. I want to have a purpose. If you want to have a purpose, learn to center yourself because you help stabilize the collective field. If you are feeling like you are not helping out the world enough, learn to center yourself, learn to process your emotions, practice presence and mindfulness because then you are helping to stabilize the collective field. That is one of the greatest things that individuals can do in this collective experience because you're centering and shifting from 3D 5D or higher and stabilizing in a higher vibrational frequency helps then stabilize the collective field. There's been many times when I've been out and about and somebody will be standing next to me in line at a cafe or a grocery store. I always ask that Reiki is sent, to anybody who wishes to receive it at those places for the highest good, respecting free will. And I always Reiki the place as well when I go in. And so oftentimes I've heard more than once people will stand next to me and they'll take a deep breath and go, "Wow, I was really anxious when I came in here. Now I feel really like I just feel calm." I mean, y'all, you have no idea how much centering yourself and utilizing the tools can help stabilize the field, the collective field. But it also doesn't mean that you're not is really important because we all go through the experiences. And so when you're having an experience where you need a stabilization of the collective field, it will be there because we're all learning how to do it. And then also another part of this is contributing authentically. Don't underestimate the significance of your unique presence and actions. Whether you influence a wide audience, a close circle, or primarily your inner world, you are contributing to this global shift. Your authenticity, your kindness, your integrity matter deeply. Every spark of light you tend within yourself brightens the collective field. So every spark of light you tend within yourself brightens the collective field. And I when I share about my friends who I process with, It's like just them being in my life, because then I'm able to share on a podcast of things that I've learned, grown, evolved. They've made a significance. They've made significant contribution authentically by their unique presence and actions just by answering the phone when I've called. And then the influence to a wider circle, me then being able to share it on a podcast that's global. And my friend picked up the phone when I called. Or I share something with them and they had a moment going, "Wait a minute, Henry, what's going on here?" And then they gently invite me in and call me on my own, like heart wall. Like, "Wait, something just happened here. Your voice just changed. What's going on here?" And it's like, "Oh my god." And then we get to workshop it in a sacred space of safety. And so their unique presence in action, they contribute significantly, not only in my own life, but then also influencing a wider audience because I share it on my podcast, which is then I have a global audience. So that's why really in your beingness, you just showing up in your beingness. Also, all my clients I always ask permission from the clients that if I'm going to share something, by them being willing to allow me to share, if they've said yes, that contributes because the thing is, in my doing now this work as a practitioner for all these years, y'all, if we realized how we have so many similarities more than differences in regard to the things that we have processed, thought about, experienced, you would see so much more of yourself in people than not. I can't even tell you how often I'll hear a story and say, "Wow, not only can I relate to that story and then have so much compassion, but I just see myself at certain times." Or I'll have a client say to me, "Oh, I was listening to your story on this, and I just saw myself in it at a certain time." We are all there supporting each other in this collective experience more so than we even realize. Humaning is so incredibly amazing yet complicated, friends. And, you know, earlier when my mom was sharing those stories about my family, whew, it is like far from perfect. And in regard to when you think about family and some just there's some challenging situations that my mom and my grandparents went through, my dad went through, and but you can either stay stuck in the suffering of the story and go into victim consciousness, or you can process the story, process any kind of sadness or hurt or any kind of loss and grief or trauma, download the wisdom, and then when you're ready, allow yourself to complete the emotions and shift to then learn, grow, and evolve. How have you learned, grown, and evolved? And then also, too, are you in survival or are you letting yourself shift into thriving? And when sometimes I've heard the stories of my family, I it has been a lot of survival. There's been a lot of survival. My maternal grandparents at some point just shut down. Shut down. Lights are out. And even though they both my maternal grandparents were both really skilled. My grandfather was a very skilled carpenter and building homes. And then my grandmother, she just so incredibly talented. She could just she could do a lot. She was an incredibly talented, uh, I guess, designer, if you will, seamstress, if you will. She could go to a store and she could see a dress or a suit and come home and draw the pattern and then make she could make it. I mean, she's just very, very talented. And then also very talented in terms of so many other things in terms of the home. But also, she used to read tarot cards with playing cards. And, but yet they just shut down at a certain point. They just really shut down. And that just really affected my mom and her siblings. And a lot of it was because they were in survival. They were in survival. And so that was one of the things that, when these stories came up, I was like, oh, I need to check in to see what's coming up in this last month to be cleared in terms of family stuff, maternal paternal lineages. What is the percentage of survival that had been dormant that's now coming up to be cleared so that way we can, shift not only individually, but also if the rest of the family, respecting free will, if they want to then shift as well into thriving. Um, yeah, and it was really interesting. So anyway, back to then the contributing authentically. Don't underestimate the significance of your unique presence and actions. Like me calling my mom earlier, it she gave some incredible information that then her unique presence and actions of sharing is supporting me and then also our family in terms of a wider audience. And then also now I'm sharing with all of you. So that's how we contribute to a global shift. You just never know how much your presence has actually supported someone. Your authenticity, your showing up, your kindness, your light, it matters deeply. Every spark of light you tend within yourself brightens the collective field. So every spark of light you tend within yourself brightens the collective field. And so moving on then in terms of the integration work, here are some journal questions. What personal transformations have I experienced this year and how might they parallel the global shifts I observe? So I will put these in the show notes, but you can also pause too to answer. What personal transformations have I experienced this year and how might they parallel the global shifts I observe? How can I honor and release old emotions to create space for new uplifting energies in my life? And by uplifting, it can be like peace, it can be harmony, it can be balance. When I was getting on a TV, balance was a big one for me. But that doesn't also mean that you're not also going to experience things like sadness and things like that because we're living in a human experience, y'all. So sadness can also be beneficial at times. It's just when you stay stuck in the pattern of it. So, how can I honor and release old emotions to create space for new uplifting energies in my life? The next question, when I feel a sense of excitement or unfamiliarity, what opportunities or paths are these feelings pointing me towards? So, when I feel a sense of excitement or unfamiliarity, what opportunities or paths are these feelings pointing me toward? So, once more, when I feel a sense of excitement or unfamiliarity, what opportunities or paths are these feelings pointing me toward? And I also just want to add, I grew up in New England in Massachusetts, and when I was 17, I I decided that I wanted to lose my Boston accent because I had gone up to my brother's college and people would just say like, "Oh my god, can you say park the car in Harvard Yard?" Like they would actually say that. And so I was like, "Oh my goodness." I'm like, "Okay." So I started practicing hitting my R's. And I just want to say that I just had a moment when I said unfamiliarity. I had a moment of just joy saying it again and again because I hit the R, which previously I may have stumbled on, which is, we're here to learn, grow, and evolve, people. And even if I stumbled, that would have been okay too. But I just had a moment of just joy, like, yes, I am 53. I, at 17, started retraining my brain to hit R's. But that is how embedded things are, where I still sometimes there's words that I'm unable to say because of the combination of where the R is, or I drop an R because I'm tired. And it's just fascinating. It's really, really fascinating how deeply embedded things can be in the human. And that's why you have to have patience, kindness, loving kindness, and compassion. All right, next journal question. In what ways can I become more present, allowing myself to witness and contribute to the emerging global consciousness? In what ways can I become more present, allowing myself to witness and contribute to the emerging global consciousness? And then the next one. How can I share my unique gifts, perspectives, and compassion to support the collective evolution, no matter the scale of my influence? How can I share my unique gifts, perspectives, and compassion to support the collective evolution, no matter the scale of my influence? Once again, how can I share my unique gifts, perspectives, and compassion to support the collective evolution, no matter the scale of my influence? Okay, next question. What does unity and co creation look like to me? What does unity and co creation look like to me? And how can I embody these qualities in my daily life? What does unity and co creation look like to me? And how can I embody these qualities in my daily life? What does unity and co creation look like to me? And how can I embody these qualities in my daily life? So let yourself answer these without judgment. These reflections help bridge your personal growth and the world's unfolding journey. And so now here are some intentions and affirmations for December's global transformation and new energy. So let's just take a moment to close our eyes, take 3 deep breaths, breathing in life force energy, breathing out when no longer supports you, breathing in life force energy, breathing out when no longer supports you. Following your breath in, following your breath out, allowing yourself to arrive in the space as is, however it is. And we're going to invite Reiki energy healing in. If you wish to receive Reiki, say, yes, I like to receive Reiki for my highest good. If you don't, that's okay. Reiki always respects free will. And also Reiki is going to be sent to these intentions as well, which you can then use where in the future, if you want to use them and say them, they will have a Reiki boost with them if you want to receive it. Okay, take another deep breath. Okay. So now with these intentions, affirmations for December's global transformation and new energy, you can either repeat them after me if you wish to, if it resonates, either out loud or quietly to yourself. You can also take time to write these intentions as well, or use them as affirmation to help retrain the brain. Okay, so here we go. I intend to honor my inner work, trusting that it contributes to the collective awakening. I intend to honor my inner work, trusting that it contributes to the collective awakening. I intend to honor my inner work, trusting that it contributes to the collective awakening. The next one, I choose to release old patterns and emotions, making room for higher vibrations and inspired action. I choose to release old patterns and emotions, making room for higher vibrations and inspired action. Okay, next one. I commit to being present, recognizing the clarity and resilience arise from this sacred stillness. I commit to being present, recognizing that clarity and resilience arise from this sacred stillness. I commit to being present, recognizing that clarity and resilience arise from this sacred stillness. Okay, the next one, I share my light and authenticity, knowing that even subtle contributions shape our shared future. I share my light and authenticity, knowing that even subtle contributions shape our shared future. I share my light and authenticity, knowing that even subtle contributions shape our shared future. Okay, the next one. I embrace unity and compassion, consciously participating in the global transformation underway. I embrace unity and compassion, consciously participating in the global transformation underway. So, with that, then let yourself repeat these intentions often as you like. You can utilize them as affirmations to help retrain the brain. You can also write them down in your journal 10 to 20 times to really allow them to be embodied. But basically, they reinforce your role both as a witness to and a catalyst for positive change. Okay, here's the astrological influence in regard to this energy theme. The Sun square Saturn, December 4th. It supports spiritual and creative growth, reinforcing collective evolution. Sun opposite Jupiter, December 7th, encourages expansion and unity, bridging differences for greater harmony. Venus conjunct Pluto, December 6th, 7th, sparks transformative shifts in relationships, collective energy patterns. And then Venus opposite retrograde Mars, December 12th, illuminates tension and push pull dynamics, calling for discernment and authenticity. There is more, but this is just the general, just a few of them. These astrological movements underscore the importance of staying heart centered and discerning, using discernment by acknowledging intensity without losing your center. Or even if you do, it's just allowing yourself to recognize and then reground, realign. But basically, then you contribute positively to the collective field of transformation. Okay, energy theme connection. This theme highlights the interplay between personal and global evolution. As you align with higher frequencies, practice presence, and live authentically, you help weave a new narrative of unity, compassion, and shared vision. By embracing emotional release and tuning into emerging energies, you become an active participant in shaping the future. Together, we are co creating a reality rooted in love, understanding, and a collective empowerment. So, with that, my friends, we are going to be coming to a completion on this. But before we go, let's just take another final gentle breath together. Breathing in, inhaling new possibilities, and then exhaling any lingering resistance. And let's do that one more time. Breathing in new possibilities, exhaling any lingering resistance. And then before we go, we just want also to delink. So say this after me if it resonates with you, my friends. We want to break the links. I asked to break the links with this mindfulness chat. I asked to break the Reiki links. I asked to break the links, leaving only harmony and balance at either ends. I also asked to clear any residual energies being held in my body as a result of these links. I ask that light fill all the void, self rejuvenates, refreshes, revitalizes for the highest good with ease and grace in gratitude. In gratitude, my friends. So, with that, my friends, take another deep breath. And then bringing awareness behind your eyes. If your eyes were closed, open your eyes. Welcome back. Let yourself carry these insights forward. Your journey is not isolated, my friends. It is a part of a global movement toward greater harmony and purpose. Know that as you evolve, you help shape a brighter, more aligned future for all. Step boldly into this new chapter, trusting in your worth, your light, and your power to help shape the world we are entering. And with that, my friends, we are complete for now. Much, much love. Until soon, and stay inspired, my friends.